Have you ever wondered why Indian myths and sacred art have survived for thousands of years? Why the images carved into stone temples or painted in manuscripts still feel alive, even frightening today? India is often seen as the land of light, wisdom, and spiritual beauty. But look closer, and you will find something more unsettling. These myths were never only about peace. They were about power, fear, survival, and the acceptance that darkness is as sacred as light. The Indian subcontinent is vast, with landscapes as diverse as rivers, deserts, forests, and mountains. To ancient people, these forces were not just nature, they were gods. The Ganga was a goddess, carrying life in her waters, but also death in her floods. The Himalayas were protectors, but also dangerous, hiding storms and avalanches. Forests gave medicine and food, yet concealed demons and spirits. From this land came stories that mirrored reality. Blessings always paired with risks, beauty always shadowed by fear. The earliest known layers of Indian mythology appear in the Rig Veda, composed around 1500 BCE. The hymns describe deities like Indra, god of thunder, who killed the serpent Vritra to release the waters, a myth about rain defeating drought. Yet Indra himself was unpredictable, praised for his courage, but criticized for his excess. Agni, god of fire, carried prayers to the heavens, but fire could also consume entire villages. Even at the very beginning, the divine was never simple. Unlike some cultures, where gods are clearly good or evil, Indian tradition embraced paradox. Shiva is the perfect example, the yogi in meditation on Mount Kailash, calm and detached, yet also Rudra, the storm god, fierce and destructive. In art, he appears both serene and terrifying, with a third eye that can burn the world. Vishnu, the preserver, protects cosmic order through his avatars. As Rama, he embodies virtue and sacrifice, yet his rigid sense of duty forces him to banish his innocent wife Sita. As Krishna, he enchants with music and love, but in the Mahabharata he shows his cosmic form, countless heads, countless arms, blazing so intensely that even his closest friend Arjuna trembles in fear. And then there is the goddess Devi, in her many forms. Parvati is gentle and nurturing. Lakshmi brings prosperity. Sarasvati gives wisdom. Yet the same divine mother becomes Durga, slayer of demons, armed with weapons in every hand, riding a lion. Or she becomes Kali, dark and wild, her tongue dripping red, dancing on the bodies of the slain. In Indian thought, these are not contradictions, they are completeness. The goddess contains all possibilities: creation, nurture, destruction. One of the most vivid stories is the battle of Durga against the buffalo demon Mahishasura. According to legend, Mahishasura gained power through a boon. No man could kill him. Armed with this gift, he defeated gods and took control of heaven itself. Desperate, the gods combined their energy, and from that light appeared Durga, radiant, beautiful, yet armed for war. She received the weapons of every god: Shiva's trident, Vishnu's discus, Indra's thunderbolt. Riding her lion, she went into battle. The fight shook the heavens. From her brow sprang Kali, black as night, who devoured demons with laughter. Finally, Durga confronted Mahishasura. He shifted forms, from man to buffalo to lion to elephant, but she pierced his chest with her spear. The gods returned to their thrones, praising her victory. This story is not just triumph. It is also a warning. Chaos is always near, and order survives only through fierce struggle. That is why temples across India show Durga in the act of killing Mahishasura, a reminder that power can be both savior and destroyer. Even today, Durga Puja in Bengal reenacts this drama, with enormous idols and processions, where devotion is mixed with awe at her terrifying strength. But not every version paints the same picture. In Mysore, Karnataka, Mahishasura is remembered differently, as a local hero, a tribal king resisting northern rulers. His defeat by Durga is seen not only as myth, but as a story of cultural conquest. The very name Mysore comes from Mahishasura, the city of Mahisha. Here, the line between villain and hero blurs. The same happens with Ravana, the demon king of Lanka in the Ramayana. In northern India, he is the arrogant villain whose effigies are burned at Dasara. But in parts of South India and Sri Lanka, Ravana is honored as a scholar, a great musician, a devotee of Shiva. In some villages, his memory is celebrated, not condemned. Even Krishna, beloved across India, has two faces. To most, he is the divine lover, the playful god of music and love. But in the Mahabharata, he manipulates events of war, sometimes with ruthless strategy. In art, he is both the smiling cowherd with a flute and the terrifying cosmic form that embodies eternity itself. Sacred art became the canvas for these myths. Every gesture, every object, every animal was a code. The lotus, purity born from mud, showing that transcendence arises from imperfection. The trident, creation, preservation, and destruction in one. The discus, not just a weapon, but the wheel of time. The skull garland of Kali, letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, reminding us that even language and knowledge are born from destruction. Animals, too, were symbolic. The bull Nandi represents patience and devotion. The serpent embodies both danger and hidden wisdom. The lion is raw power, mastered only by the goddess. These images were not decoration but lessons, reminders that the sacred includes both life and death, both comfort and fear. Even now, the myths are alive. Festivals like Diwali and Holi retell these stories every year. Diwali celebrates Rama's return from exile, with lights to drive away darkness. Holi's bonfires recall the Demonis Holika, destroyed by fire before the colors of spring explode in celebration. In these rituals, joy always carries the memory of danger overcome. Language, too, holds the echoes. Phrases like the third eye or the dance of destruction are used daily, often without realizing their mythic roots. Modern cinema adapts epic themes, brothers divided by fate, divine intervention in human conflict. Even global games and comics borrow Indian gods, sometimes reshaped as superheroes, sometimes as villains. Anthropologists see these myths as survival stories. Serpents became sacred because snakes were real threats. River goddesses arose because water was life and death. Psychologists view the gods as archetypes of the human mind. Shiva as transformation, Vishnu as order, Kali as the shadow mother, both nurturing and devouring. By facing these images, people learn to face their own fears. Comparative mythology shows the same patterns across the world. Indra killing Vritra resembles Zeus killing Typhon or Thor battling the serpent Jormungandr. Durga's battle mirrors other tales of chaos, subdued by order. These universal themes suggest that Indian myths are local expressions of global truths, humanity's attempt to find meaning in the balance between chaos and creation. So why do these stories endure? Because they tell us the truth we still live with. That joy cannot exist without sorrow. That every beginning requires an ending. That beauty often grows out of darkness. Sacred art and myth remind us that fear is not something to run from. It is something to face, transform, and carry forward. When you see Kali's wild eyes, or Durga's spear piercing the demon, or Krishna's flute in the hands of a smiling god, you are not just seeing art. You are seeing a mirror of existence itself. A mirror that has lasted for thousands of years because it refuses to lie. These myths do not promise comfort. They promise truth. And that is why they still matter today.